Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Wednesday. Super excited about today's conversation because we're looking at how Latin America is changing, right? Changing every single day from the people, politics, and just overall the power shift that's going on in Latin America. On one side, we're seeing a record number of Latin Americans moving to Spain, right? And then you got at the other side, Bolivia just made a major political shift, right, in their country. So we're going to be talking about both articles and showing how the region of Latin America is evolving at a whole new level. Welcome, my guy Jeremiah. How you feeling today?
Blessed and highly favored, man. I appreciate you always holding it down as you do week after week, man. It feels good to be back.
Feels
Appreciate
good to
it.
be back. It's funny. It's been a minute since we spoke. So before we hit record, we were literally talking for exactly an hour.
Thanks.
We could have filmed two other episodes right there. But look, I want to talk about Spain and some of the passport boom that's been going on in Spain. And look, we spoke about this a lot at the beginning of the year. We spoke about how people are kind of skipping America and they're looking for a different route, a different place to go to, a different place to live, right? And Spain has been a very, very popular spot. Stay tuned because I'm actually going to share my screen and show a graph and a map of what the migration is looking like in Spain. So look, Spain has become one of the top destinations for Latin Americans. Immigration there has nearly doubled in the past decade. Latinos make up a major part of Spain's growing population. And fun fact, Bad Bunny, he's going on a tour out there in Spain in 2026. I think he's doing like 12 shows out there.
Wow.
Something crazy, like 12 consecutive shows there. I'm sure he won't
Wow.
have a problem filling up that stadium. Um, right. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to also dive into why are people even considering Spain as well? Like why is this shift happening. So I'm gonna go ahead and share. Boom! Shout out to Latino Metrics for
Shout out.
making this dope graph. And now what you're looking at here, if you're watching on YouTube, you're looking at Latin America's migration to Spain. And so you have these different bubbles and whatnot, and that represents the size of the people that are migrating to Spain. So if you're looking at this graph here, yearly grants of Spanish citizenship from 2020 to 2024, the average, obviously the bubbles that are bigger and a little bit darker are going to be the country with the most people granting Spanish citizenship. So at the top, you got Venezuela, you got Cuba, Dominican Republic, Honduras, Costa Rica, and then you also have some other countries like Colombia, Ecuador on here, Bolivia, that are also getting Spanish passports and migrating to Spain. When you seen this information, man, what were your thoughts about all of this?
It's a sizable amount of people. We knew Venezuela was probably going to be one of the top, right, top countries, just given what goes on there in their country. But I think it's very important to notice that if you look at the numbers, right, the the economies that I would say lack stability, you see
That's a good
more
point.
people leaving, right? You see a huge migration to Spain versus the more substantiated, right, more
Hmm.
established economies, the ones that are doing extremely well right now. You don't see as many people going there because people are staying in their country because there's actual opportunity.
For sure.
Mexico,
Mexico.
you know, is part of Mexico possibly because they don't have the money to go? I don't think so. I think Mexico has been making strides and progressive. Their president's been doing a phenomenal job. And so more people are staying in Mexico. Brazil, a lot of
Hmm.
people would say Brazil is more because of the language. I don't think so. And guys, you'd be surprised. Most Brazilians actually understand and speak Spanish.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that was it. I say they have a growing economy. They've made a shift in their political reigns the past, 6 years or so. Brazil's growing like crazy. Argentina even a little bit more than Brazil in them, but you see a lower number, right? Chile, Peru.
Hmm.
So these are countries that have established economies and that people have jobs, right? Professional jobs. Like top level white collar jobs inside of
Mm-hmm.
these countries. And so you see more people staying. But everywhere else where they don't have the financial infrastructure, you see them going to Spain, which is not
100%.
surprising, right? You don't have
100%.
to learn a new language. It is different, by the way, though. I will tell
Oh, it's
people that
very different.
not the same Spanish, but there's a resemblance, right? It's
Resemblance.
the motherland of the Spanish language, and so you go
Mhm.
back and you don't find it hard to assimilate into their culture.
Yeah, and I think, talking about why people go over there, for some people, for some country, it may be an easier citizenship path
Sure,
based on your
sure.
family ancestry or historical ties. You mentioned the language piece. Even
Mhm.
though, look, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Spanish, you go to Peru, I'm pretty sure they're going to be like, what the heck y'all talking about?
Sure,
Same thing if you go to Spain, there's going to be, learning barriers there, but also culturally, you could even throw in religion in there as
sure.
well, can make it an easier transition for people. And I think one of the most underrated reasons to get a Spanish passport is the EU access. So you get access
Yeah.
to pretty much all of Europe with the
Yep.
Spanish passport, giving you more stability and more global opportunities to go around Europe. I think it's I forgot the chart, but the power ranking of like the most powerful
Right. The
passports.
deepest
Uh,
passport.
exactly, Spain is up there.
Yeah, they took a step up this year. I think America dropped down to number 10 or out of the top 10, actually. So, you know, yeah, and well, let me say this. If you're gonna, I agree. Having access to multiple different European countries, everybody that's in the EU is phenomenal, but you might want to work on your English, as English is the base language for everybody over there. Because if you only speak Spanish and you go to Paris, they speak
Yep,
French and
yep,
English, right? So you got to work at least on the English. You don't have to know French, all right? You go to Portugal, they speak Portuguese and English, and so English is
mm-hmm,
the carrier language, right? It's the base language
100%.
over in Europe. So you need to at least know English. So might be something you want to work on. But yeah, that maybe that'll encourage people,
Mm-hmm.
to work on that a little bit.
100%. I was trying to bring up the global passport ranking. It's loading right now. But no, this is. Let me see if it's okay, cool. So I brought it up. So let me quickly share this, and we'll take a look at this. I always think this is pretty interesting to look at. So, without going too much into detail, Singapore is number one, South
Makes so much
Korea,
sense.
Japan, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, and then Spain,
Fourth. Wow.
fourth. And so we're
Wow.
going down to United States,
I think that's crazy.
12th.
Look at that. Look at that. I think that's crazy. And that, by the way, this just started occurring within the past 6 or 7 years.
Hmm.
It
And this
wasn't like
number, not to cut you off, this number right here is the number of countries that have a visa-free destination. So 180 places compared to Spain is 188. So you got more access to go to different places with
man's
the
189.
Spanish. Yeah, yeah,
Do you
189.
do you think looking at this and Singapore for obvious reasons,
Mm-hmm.
extremely advanced as far as technology and things like that, extremely
Mm-hmm.
clean and the
Yep.
safest, they've been rated the safest country in the world a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times over. Um, do you think based upon this, so like everybody, right, in America, we obviously, or this side of the world, we see America as the big brother or whatever. Does this start to show that maybe America isn't it or is sliding?
Bro, this if you don't if you ain't seeing that, like me,
Hey,
I'm a huge proponent, a person that likes to travel, and the more you get out, not just to look, I know the beaches, Puerto Rico, everything's
right,
amazing, but just
right,
to go out and experience other cultures, different parts of the world. Like you said, I've never been to Singapore, but Singapore, like going to a country that's clean, that's safe,
yeah,
that can shift your perspective. You can be like, hold up,
yeah.
I'm coming from Cali, or I'm coming from this part of the United States where I gotta watch my back. My kids are walking over needles and whatnot.
Mhm.
This don't look too bad over here. Any of these countries,
And I think that that's a you just brought up a huge point, which is a shift in perspective, right? A paradigm shift. Like I think a lot of, and we talked about this before we started rolling, but the propaganda. I think the propaganda tells Americans that they're the number one and blah blah blah
Hmm.
blah, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know if based upon facts if that's a factual statement still. And
Hmm.
I think people should start to expand what they're looking at and see,
Hmm.
see
100%.
what's going on.
100%. No, I agree. I just wanted to see who was at the bottom tier.
Afghanistan. See,
Yeah.
and
24. That's crazy. That's wild. That's wild.
That's propaganda based too though.
This right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Look at the
We'll scroll back
countries.
to the top.
No. Look at the countries at the bottom. Go
No,
back.
no,
Look
100%. Yeah, 100%. You got
look at
Afghanistan, Syria,
Afghanistan,
Iraq.
Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Pakistan. Come on, man. Somalia, like this
Yeah, North
is,
Korea.
yeah.
So these are all okay. This is the list. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, interesting stuff. Let us know what you guys think about this down below. Um, are you in a position where you consider possibly leaving your country, the United States? Have you thought about Spain? We'd love to know down below what you guys think about that. Now, what's interesting, while some Latin Americans are chasing opportunities abroad and going to different countries like Spain, others are trying to stay local and rebuild at home. And look, Bolivia is in the midst of that right now as they just elected their first conservative president in over 20 years, Rodrigo Paz, ending the long rule of the Socialist Party. He won the election with a majority vote. And there's a couple of things that he promised. I want to quickly play this video just to give you guys a view of what he looks like and just kind of the presidential win. So I'll go ahead and share this with the sound. Boom. Play like a minute of it.
Centrist Rodrigo Paz won Bolivia's presidential runoff on Sunday, ending nearly 2 decades of leftist rule amid the country's worst economic crisis in a generation. As Paz celebrated his victory Sunday night, he vowed to end a fuel shortage currently gripping the country.
Starting November 8th, Bolivia will no longer face fuel shortages. With the support of partner nations we've engaged, every step we've taken has been in service of the Bolivian people. Our goal is to establish a stable government and begin the transformative changes that lie ahead.
With almost 55% of the vote, Paz bested his conservative rival, Jorge Quiroga, by nearly 10 points, according to early results from Bolivia's electoral tribunal. The 58-year-old senator's win marks a historic shift for Bolivia. The South American country has been governed almost continuously since 2006 by the Movement to Socialism, or MAS party, which once enjoyed overwhelming support from the country's indigenous majority. Support for MAS cratered in the vote's first round in August amid the deepening economic crisis. Both runoff candidates pledged to strengthen diplomatic ties with Washington.
Cool. We'll stop it there, but just wanted to give you guys some perspective of what's going on in Bolivia. Very, very interesting time. So, one of the things that stuck out that I want to quickly go over is he wants to help end the fuel shortage and also help with inflation. Inflation over there is over 20% currently. Um, what else? When you seen this, Jeremiah, what was your thoughts? I know we don't get to touch on Bolivia very much, but this is huge.
The basis of their population is mostly indigenous.
Yeah.
Um, and so I feel that sometimes based upon that, maybe they don't have an overwhelming holistic grip of what's going on outside of them. I think they're pretty primarily focused on what's going on tactically, right, in their own country. Um, and I also noticed the difference between the working class and the ruling class, their appearance, the type of people, the ancestry of those two different people. If you didn't notice it, go back and watch this
Mhm.
and you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, but I say that to say, when I saw this, I thought that, what a perfect setup. Um, you have a country who essentially has been doing socialism far left, right? Not democratic left as we
Mm-hmm.
know here in the United States, but far left socialism. And it didn't work, right? And we've seen several times, it's just several examples where fascism, socialism, those things don't work. What I would say is this, though. It almost appears, it's very strange to me how things kind of align. All of a sudden, the first conservative president there, it, right? It's almost like our government is aligning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're creating allies in multiple different countries.
100%. I
Like we're
mean,
almost we're dictating the vote in these countries, and
so
it's
yeah.
very strange to me how this all is magically happening at the same time. I don't think it's a coincidence, but far be it from me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think if you see the connections between things, Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, I think has somebody that's strong conservative,
El
Uruguay, Paraguay,
Salvador.
all
El
these
Salvador.
countries, Chile. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think all this has seemingly been planned, but that was my take. When I saw
No.
it, I'm happy for them. I hope that things do progress well for them, but I almost feel that this was a created state of emergency, a created sense of dependency and the things that was going on there. And so you come in as kind of like the white knight and the savior. And
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot. I'm not, I'll say this, I'm not buying the propaganda. That's
Mm.
all.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing that. And so no, I love that you brought that up because they're definitely following a trend with, like you say, countries like Argentina, El Salvador,
Mm.
Ecuador. Um, and what do these countries have in common? These countries are somewhat building a relationship with the Trump administration, right? So if this individual, I'm pretty sure the Trump administration is watching very closely to look
Of
at
course you.
different ways that they can build opportunities, different opportunities to build alliances
Can
with
you
this
show
country.
Bolivia on the map real quick? I just want to show something.
Yeah, yeah,
Why this is important. I'm gonna show you.
yeah. Let me get a.
This is very important too for people that want to understand geopolitical landscape and the way things happen and why you have why Puerto Rico is not independent, why certain countries are moving in a certain space and they have to move in that space. I want you guys to look at this. So we know Brazil went conservative, right? They went overly conservative probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And then you have Bolivia, Peru's moving in that space, but you have
Mm,
Colombia that's potentially moving in that space, right? But
mm,
what is the distance from Bolivia to Venezuela? From that point, from that tip to there. I mean, it's still a distance, but it's a lot shorter than coming from the United States, right?
for sure,
I'm
for
saying all
sure.
that to say, if you surround your enemy, Venezuela,
Mm-hmm,
right, with conservative allies, what do you do? And if you guys don't know, and if you haven't realized, Venezuela has more oil than Iraq, more oil than Saudi Arabia. They have more
mm-hmm.
oil than most Middle Eastern countries. It's a country with an extreme amount of oil. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep you can be blind to what's happening and however whatever, but I see exactly what's happening. You
No.
surround that country with allies, right? Force that country to do what it is that you want to do, and then you guys all split up the spoils.
Hundred
That's how that
percent.
works.
The bigger game, y'all.
So I'm not buying the propaganda. If you're going to end the fuel shortage, that means there shouldn't have been a shortage anyway.
Mm,
If with after 3 weeks of you being in office, you come in and completely eradicate the fuel shortage, that means that fuel
it could have been
shortage
done
was
earlier.
propagated. It was created. It's been.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Mm.
This is.
They need. Yeah.
Come
It's
on,
too
man.
easy.
Come on, bro. You come in 3 weeks and you totally eradicate. It's totally done.
Yeah.
That means it never should have been. That means
Mm,
someone has been purposefully creating this situation to
mm.
prop you up, to place you in that position to be
To
that
make you
savior.
look good, that you can be the
Like
saving
there's
grace.
no way someone's gonna come in and in 3 weeks they totally eradicate a fuel shortage that's been going on for like 10 years. How is that possible?
Mm. Well, let us know what you guys think down below. What are your thoughts about this um really this whole conversation? It's very fascinating for us to talk about and just look, everything is connected from the first article we spoke about, Spain, people leaving. We didn't even get the chance to talk about Argentina and what's going on out there,
Yeah.
which you and I spoke about before we hit record. But look, there's a lot
Mhm.
going on in Latin America, and we want to know your guys' thoughts. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Let us know down in the description or in the comment section, and do us a huge favor. Share this episode with one other person that needs to be tapped into the Latin Wealth platform. Jeremiah, before we go, do you have any last words for the people?
I want to tell people to be extremely vigilant. Um, you know, if you have family members that's in other Latin American countries, it's time for all of us to start becoming critical thinkers.
Mm,
Don't be swayed by emotions. Don't be swayed by things you see on TV and all it. Like, actually tell your family back home and you guys here as well. Actually read, do critical thinking, look up everything that you're seeing and see what it's connected to.
very important. Very
There's
important.
literally webs of everything that's interconnected, and if you study deep enough, you'll start to see what's actually happening versus day to day
Mm,
what people report. So that's it,
100%.
and thank you guys.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys. Once again, it's the Latin Wolf family. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace, guys.